has been 2 years since the 23-hour anti-terror measures carried out by the army of our beloved Azerbaijan. As a result, Azerbaijan cleared Karabakh of terrorist separatists and fully restored the country's sovereignty. For many years, Baku patiently pursued a diplomatic path. However, after the Tovuz clashes in 2020, when the situation reached a critical point, Azerbaijan launched the 44-day patriotic war, in which it achieved a historic victory. As a result, 90% of the occupied territories were liberated. Yet, in some parts of Karabakh, in Konkendi, Agder, Kajoli, and Kojavend, armed band formations still remained. A Russian peacekeeping contingent was deployed there, but the illegal regime was hardly restrained by the Russian military. Finally, in September 2023, on the 19th, Azerbaijan announced the start of anti-terror measures, which lasted less than a day. The separatists raised the white flag, and later the regime declared its self-dissolution. Azerbaijan offered the Armenians living in these territories the opportunity to stay and accept Azerbaijani citizenship. Those who refused left the region voluntarily, moving to Armenia. There was no pressure. It was entirely their own choice. It is worth recalling that during the First Karabakh War, Azerbaijanis were forcibly expelled from their homes under threat of death, often without even time to collect personal belongings. Thousands of civilians were killed. Armenians, on the other hand, left the region voluntarily, without coercion. Today, Azerbaijan has restored its territorial integrity and sovereignty and implemented the UN resolutions of the 1990s through its own efforts. The anti-terror measures undertaken by the Azerbaijani army were not only a military victory, but also an important milestone in the country's history. On the liberated territories, a large-scale restoration process began from the very first day of deoccupation. Anyone visiting Konkendi today can see the city being revived. Lands that had been turned into ruins during the Armenian occupation are coming back to life. Azerbaijan is literally performing a miracle on the liberated lands. In this process, Azerbaijan received support primarily from Turkey and the entire Turkic world. However, Azerbaijan was able to achieve success in the just cause of reclaiming its native land independently. And today, the leaders of the Armenian separatists under investigation in Baku, through their confessions of crimes against humanity, confirm the legitimacy of the anti-terror measures carried out by the Azerbaijani army. Karabakh is Azerbaijan.